Meanwhile, the judge who will decide whether to throw out New York City Mayor Eric Adams' federal corruption case has ordered his legal team into court tomorrow. It follows claims that Adams allegedly agreed to enforce President Trump's immigration policies in exchange for clearing his name. Let's bring in CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane. So what is the judge asking for, Scott? What happens tomorrow? And what happens if he ultimately rejects Mayor Adams' request to have this case dismissed?
This hearing at 2 p.m. tomorrow could be a landmark hearing, Vlad. The judge is basically asking what in the world is going on with this case of New York City's mayor. This unorthodox sequence of events needs to be explained to the judge before the judge will agree to dismiss the case, the federal corruption case against Eric Adams. This has been unprecedented from the jump. The Department of Justice, now with Trump-aligned leadership, wants this case dismissed, and they argue in part so that the mayor can resume helping President Trump with his immigration enforcement initiatives. That is not a traditional reason to drop a criminal case. Usually that request is made because the facts of the case have changed or some other legal circumstances have shifted. The defense will have to appear in some way, shape, or form tomorrow to make an argument as to why they believe the case should be dismissed as well. But none of this is going against, all of this is going against muscle memory in the legal system. None of this is going according to the traditional customs of justice in America. So this will need to be explained to the judge tomorrow before he signs off on it. And Vlad, that could be quite a show in Manhattan during the hearing.
All right, let's talk about President Trump, who's making waves with his nominee for Washington's top federal prosecutor, Ed Martin. What are you hearing from your sources about the reaction of that pick, Scott?
It's not a household name. It's not a household position. But let me explain the significance of the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. That's the top federal prosecutor right here in Washington, D.C., which gives that person outsized influence over justice in America, prosecuting crimes that occur in Washington, but also crimes involving the government. The January 6 cases were here. When members of Congress are charged with corruption, it goes through Washington, D.C. Big cases with big stakes. Ed Martin is a Stop the Steal advocate who was a 2020 election denier. He defended January 6 defendants in court, and he was the one assigned on an acting basis after the inauguration to dump all those January 6 cases off the docket, to conclude the dismissal of cases and execute those pardons in the court system. And Ed Martin has also been on social media a very vocal advocate for the president and for the president's surrogates politically. Ed Martin now getting this position as top federal prosecutor in Washington is going to cause quite a bit of concern among Democrats here in D.C. and among those worried the Justice Department is being politicized in a distinctive way by Donald Trump.
Okay, Scott, and finally, let me ask you about this federal employee union that's filing a suit to try and block Elon Musk and the White House Department of Government Efficiency's access to IRS records. You know, I've been seeing social media chatter about this, people suggesting that just because Elon Musk was a founder of PayPal and thus had access to some of our financial records and information, that he should have access to this, as Department of Government Efficiency should. What are you hearing as latest on this lawsuit?
Yeah, that'll have to go through the courts first. And you'll need a chart and a spreadsheet to track all these federal lawsuits against the Trump administration, against Elon Musk for these initiatives to get access to sensitive data or to execute personnel changes. In fact, we have a spreadsheet and a chart to keep track of all these cases. This latest one is from the National Federation of Federal Employees, one of the major unions or organizations representing federal employees. They'd like a judge to hear first before giving Elon Musk and his team access to those private IRS records or data sets. This will be added to the docket with many other lawsuits, Vlad, but judges have been moving promptly on these issues involving sensitive records.
Scott, briefly, just so I understand. So when we hear that they are requesting this information or they're trying to gain access to it, they do not, as of yet, have access to this information, if I'm understanding what these lawsuits are all about, right? And this process, these legal suits, could take some time. So when we suggest that this is what's happening, it actually hasn't occurred yet. This is just what they're attempting to do?
They're beginning a process which in and of itself is significant, but so many of these private government records are somewhat separated into career access only. You have to be a career employee, so you keep it somewhat segregated from the political appointees so that it's not misappropriated. In this case, they're trying to break down those walls and give access to sensitive information to political appointees, according to the critics.
All right, Scott MacFarlane for us. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.